What's going on, guys? Patrick here, bringing you a brand new video. Today we got another killer video for you guys, full of information. Today we're going to be talking about potentially the biggest move we will see from Bitcoin in a very long time. We're also be talking about having a big name jumping into the crypto space, as well as tons of other news that went on in the cryptocurrency space. But guys, as always, before we get started with that, if you guys are interested in making money with cryptocurrencies, make sure you check out the first link in the description or the first link in the comments. For the Cryptocurrency Trade Alert group, I post every single one of the trades that myself and my team enters in this group, so that if you're a complete beginner, if you don't have time to do technical analysis, or you don't know how to do technical analysis, you can copy our exact trade. It takes 2 to 3 minutes to set up, and after that, profits are taken automatically for you. So it becomes very, very passive. We have altcoin trades, we have leverage trades, and we have the #1 community in the cryptocurrency space, full of people ready and able to answer any question that you have 24/7. As always, free trial for 2 weeks, 14 days. You can try this risk-free, and if you jump in and for some crazy reason you decide that you don't like it and you don't want to stay, you can simply cancel and you will avoid getting charged. It's just as simple as that. No question asked. We will cancel and you will not get charged. Simple as that. We're breaking down all the barriers to help as many people as possible. And like I said, I built a team of people who are good at this, including myself, in order to help as many people out as we can. And so far, we've been killing it. We get posts all the time of people making a great amount of profit. And so that does make me very, very happy. But let's dive into some Bitcoin technical analysis, because we are inching closer and closer to the big day that a lot of people have been waiting for if you've been in the space for some time, waiting for years, right? But before we go into that, we have a ton to cover on the 1 hour chart. As you guys can tell from Bitcoin, we are currently above this certain resistance point that if you stay into at least a few more minutes into the video, we're going to be talking about what exactly that is and why it's so important. However, as of right now, you will notice above the EMA ribbon, that means bullish trend on the smaller time frame, and that of course bouncing off of the support up top, indicating right now that at least as of this moment, we are going to continue in this bullish trend, because we have not seen a sign of breaking below and entering a bearish trend on the short term. So keep that in mind. Now, if we move into the 4 hourly chart, you'll notice one thing different here is we have a big gap in between the Bitcoin price and the EMA ribbon. Now, you guys know I say this all the time. If you guys have been watching the videos, you know exactly what I think of something like this. This means just like what we saw happen when Bitcoin had a huge gap over here, then obviously now it doesn't look that way. This means that Bitcoin, usually when the price goes up a bunch and we have a huge gap between the candle and the EMA ribbon, that means we're either going to drop down into touching the EMA ribbon, right? Pulling it back, touching and testing the resistance, the support if we are above the EMA ribbon, which we are in the 4 hour time frame. But either that, or we are going to be trading sideways, which is going to allow the EMA ribbon to catch up and just show us again, right? Test the support again and see if we are going to bounce up again, similar to what you guys saw here. So we, had that move up. We had a big gap. Then as we waited for the EMA ribbon to catch up, Bitcoin just traded sideways and waited, tested the support, and then boom, it had another run up because it did test the support and decided we're not going to break below it. We're going to keep going up. So that's sort of what we've seen in terms of these smaller time frames for Bitcoin. Now, moving on to daily, this is where it's going to start getting interesting, because you'll notice this pattern that I've drawn a very, very, very long time ago. Maybe on the weekly, it'll be even nicer to realize, but nicer to see. But if we zoom out over here, I'm going to put on the weekly just so you guys get an idea of what's going on. All right. This pattern has been going on for years. And I've been talking about this pattern for a very long time. Hopefully my head's not blocking it. If it is, I'm going to move my head either way during this time, because it's important to see that ever since the peak of the bull run, right, in 2017, late 2017, even before that, you can see the support that was found at this range as well in mid 2017. So entering this in mid 2017, reaching the resistance or creating the first touch of the resistance in late 2017. From there, we had that bounce all the way down. We had another several attempts over here, right? It came down to the middle. It tested the resistance again. It came back down, tested the support over here again, and now came back up. But you'll notice on the weekly time frame that we are starting to try to break above this support, and that could be huge, because this is a pattern, this is a multi-year pattern, and a multi-year pattern, just like we have, the 1 hour time frame, we look at potential breaks and confirmed breaks. Multi-year platforms are the same thing, but on a way bigger scale, which means moves are way bigger. Does that mean we're going to hit an all-time high tomorrow? No, that's not what I'm saying whatsoever, but what I am saying is definitely important, definitely something to watch out for. Now, I will say before we all dive into, oh, this is the breakout, this is confirmed, we're off to the moon, one thing you do want to notice is, again, similar to the 1 hour patterns, when we're looking at the 1 hour chart, we want to see a confirmed break, right? We want to see volume with it, we want to see a confirmed break and maintain above that resistance. Now, the same thing with a daily, except these candles that we are seeing are daily candles, so they take a little bit longer to form. And if we zoom out again, you guys will be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. Notice how over here we've had wicks that, we were up there and then it wicked back down, right? We don't want to get into a fake breakout, so we do want to wait and get a confirmed breakout first. But if this does break above this pattern, this is probably the biggest breakout of a pattern that we've seen since, at least I started on YouTube. I started on YouTube late 2017, so mid 2017, roughly the time where everything was starting to pick up was when I started making videos, because I noticed people were interested. We need to wait to see if this happens, because this could be very, very big. Notice as well what's going to happen here. Let's see what happens since we are on the daily time frame. We have a pretty big gap between the EMA ribbon and where we currently are in terms of the price. So let's see if we're going to trade sideways, if we're going to drop back down, maybe even retest this previous resistance, which is now going to be a support. And if we retest and go, that's going to be a very good indicator that, yeah, it's good news. We're hopefully off to the races. But that's not the only bullish thing that's been going on for Bitcoin. We also have some of the indicators that previously signaled a bull run. That is the MACD turning bullish on the weekly chart. Now, said this a few times, I'll say it again to make sure everybody understands. Weekly time frames, these big picture time frames, these are the big moves, right? You can get the 1 hour time frame and catch a $100 move, $200, $500 move even. The 4 hourly might be able to catch a $1,000 move. The weekly time frame is where you get the moves from Bitcoin going to from 10,000 up to 20,000 in the matter of a few weeks. That's how you analyze those big picture moves. So that's why it's important to know what time frame you're looking at to be able to expect what's going to happen. Because when you hear all this good news and Bitcoin, if it does, now I'm not saying it's confirmed breakout, but if it does break or have that confirmed breakout and it starts to move up, that's not to say that Bitcoin's not going to go to 12, then back down to, 11, 13, 11, 14, 13, who knows what exactly the price is going to do. The point is, when you zoom out into the weekly chart, the expectation is for it to continue to move higher and higher. So keep in mind, if we're looking at the weekly chart, we're not saying that the hourly chart isn't going to have ups and downs. It's always going to have ups and downs. That's how these patterns work. That's how these charts work. Now, Bitcoin's also starting to decouple from different equities, which is obviously good for it as well to establish itself and establish its position. Now, the Federal Reserve is committing to printing money, which is something we're going to talk about in just a little bit as well. And Bitcoin's hash rate has hit fresh highs ahead of the halving. So all of this being very good news. Now, does this translate over to altcoins? It didn't at first. A few hours ago, they weren't doing too well, altcoins, but they have started to pick up, with Bitcoin seeing some green in the last 24 hours, up just under 5%. We are seeing that very similar with altcoins. They are seeing some green as well. So obviously something we enjoy seeing. Out of the top 50, there's a handful that are not, maybe like 3 that are not in the green over the last 24 hours. So if you're holding an altcoin, if you're holding Bitcoin, everything looks pretty good today. But let's get talking about the halving. 3 days, 5 hours, 32 minutes, and 4 seconds, about to be 31 minutes. This is a great thing for Bitcoin, right? A lot of people are talking about it, and a lot of mainstream are not talking about it. But keep in mind, I don't expect the price. I expect volatility. I expect volatility during this period, that's for sure. But I would not be surprised if in the short term, we have a lot of choppy movements ups and downs, because just because we hit this halving, just because, the clock hit 0, I've said this before, and I'll say it again to make sure people, understand what's going on. We're not expecting long term. We're expecting the price to go up. That's again that weekly time frame. We're expecting the price to go up, and for the end of the year to end off pretty good. But that's not to say that in 5 days the price couldn't drop maybe $500, right? That's not how that works. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. However, Paul Tudor Jones, a very, very big and notable investor, he is buying Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. So he's a macro investor. Paul Tudor Jones is buying Bitcoin as a hedge against the inflation he sees coming from central banks printing money, telling clients it reminds him of the role gold played in the 1970s. The best profit maximizing strategy is to own the fastest horse. That's what he said. He said again, he's the founder and the chief executive officer of Tudor Investment Corp. That's what he said, and he entitled The Great Monetary Inflation. If I'm forced to forecast, my bet will be Bitcoin. Doesn't mean he's buying all of Bitcoin. Does not mean he's changing everything he has into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is merely a hedge against what he sees going on. Now, a lot of people know what inflation is, right? They know sort of what inflation is, and they know kind of that it's like 2% every year in the US, and they just accept that it's a part of life. Very few people understand how it works and understand the actual implications of it and the effects that it can have in the long term. Short term, in 1 year, inflation 2%, it's not going to do a lot to your money, right? Your buying power is going to decrease a little bit. You're not going to feel it. In 20 years, you are going to feel it, right? If you just held money in a savings account and did nothing with it and just let it sit there, in 20 years, you are going to regret it. Because the rich know that that's not how it works. The rich know that leaving money sitting in a savings account will lose your buying power. It will basically, in simple terms, lose your buying power. You're going to have less to spend in the future. You have 100,000 now, you might have 100,000 later, but all of a sudden something that was worth $1 is now worth $3 and you can't buy as many of them. That's the simplicity. That's how it works, but people don't understand it because everybody's so fixated on these short time frames. They're not looking at the big picture and the effects that these things can have. So as a seasoned investor, he knows this. He has researched this. He has been through the gold role, the role that gold played obviously before. He's seen that happen. He's seen several different market cycles. He's seasoned, right? He's been around, like him or dislike him. I don't know him personally. He's seasoned. He's seen what's going on. So therefore, if he's going to invest his money, he probably has a little bit more experience and a better gut call than a majority of us do when it comes to something like this. So again, very interesting to see how he's playing this out. I can't wait to see if more people are going to follow suit. Maybe they already have and we don't know about it. Either way, things are looking pretty good. So that's going to be it for this video. I wanted to make it a relatively quick one, not ramble on too much, but highlight the importance of everything going on and making sure you guys know, and I will say this time and time again, if you want to make money in any market, whatever it is, understand how things work. Understand how things work. That's the simplest part of it. If you know how things work and you can identify opportunities, you're going to make money. And if you can be patient and you can not trade with emotion, not buy with emotion, but buy off of logic and hold on to that logic, it's a very good recipe in order to be successful long term. But guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys think and what other topics you guys want me to talk about. But thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys on Monday for another video.